Are we ready?
I haven't even got any tea.
By the way, the last time people really complained about your hair, they said they loved they did. Even Chris is shaking his head.
They complained about
it
my
was
hair.
awful. Yeah, everybody really liked my highlights. And then they were like, he looked like he's just rolled out of bed. There were some serious comments. Yeah, so can I just look at your hair?
I think I've had it cut since then, so it must be looking smarter. No.
We'll just go a little bit then. It was wow.
And to those of you who've been complaining about my hair, you are not my friend. So there. But hopefully today it's
I've gotten it before. Listen, I've had a lot of people saying, why don't you go back to being blonde? And I've really resisted, and then I've gone a little bit to blonde. And I've got really nice comments, so I want to say thank you to everybody. It's been, yeah.
So Spill the Tea today is not going to focus on hair. It's going to focus on other things. It's getting close to Christmas.
He's got his list here, by the way.
Well, we need a list.
It's nice, we need a list. We have so much every week.
Well, and also it's hard to remember, unless you've got a list prompting you.
Very good.
We can talk a bit about some of the changes that we're going to be making at Mapperton in 2025. Mm-hmm. We had a really important and fun staff meeting only yesterday, an away morning.
We called it an away day, away morning, it's good.
And I can tell you that elephants feature in the changes, so that's interesting. Mm-hmm. We've got all sorts of other things going on, the usual stuff, leaks at Mapperton. We've come up with a plan for our bins. That is exciting, isn't it?
Well, okay. There's like 15 things on Luke's list here, and you're actually missing Coatley Farmhouse, because I need to give an update on that.
Oh, okay, that's true. Coatley Farmhouse. Yeah.
So I think what we're going to start with is the sad news, which I think many of you saw from our last video. It took me a couple of days to actually kind of get over the sort of doom and gloom feeling of our second day of our Christmas market being canceled due to high winds, due to a storm that was called Storm Bert. And that required afterwards also, everybody, just a whole lot of admin. Refunding everybody for the Sunday, getting back to the stall holders who weren't trading on the second day. Of course, dealing with the marquee company who have been fantastic, Tattle, John and Charlie who own Tattle, they were absolutely outstanding. But then there was, we had extra food, so lots of, staff here were able to get some extra potatoes, some extra mince pies, some extra cannolis.
There were some upsides.
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many. But I think what's really depressing is that our Christmas fair was cancelled on the Sunday, and we were looking forward and thinking, gosh, all those other lucky Christmas fairs. Mm-hmm. But it turns out that this weekend there's going to be an even bigger storm with 80-mile-an-hour winds.
Yep.
And it's called Storm Dara, and it's hurtling towards the UK at the moment. And we're already seeing other Christmas fairs being cancelled.
We are.
Is Christmas going to be cancelled this year?
So we should have just had it last weekend in between. But we had a wedding last weekend, so that was the bright spot.
And what's so weird is in between these storms, the sun is out, the air is still, it's kind of Christmassy and crisp. But anyway, such is Mother Nature these days.
And from the video, and I won't harp on this, this was posed to be our biggest Christmas market ever. We knew we would get over 3,000 visitors because of how we monitor the online ticket sales. We can kind of take a view from past events to kind of get a rough idea of however many online sales we have. We know pretty much how much sales we'll take at the gate. And we were definitely on target to well over 3,000. And I think that's what's really upsetting. But moving on, we had a wedding. The positive thing is people have asked, well, why couldn't you move it to the next weekend, which was last weekend? And we couldn't because we had our first ever kind of winter wedding here.
I don't think it was our first ever, but it was our, we hadn't had one for a long time. And it went really, really well. But of course it was back to back with the Christmas fair. And one of our great fears was that we'd lift up those marquees from the fair and discover that the lawn had been decimated.
And it wasn't.
But it wasn't. It was all in good condition.
Yeah.
And the wedding was a resounding success, and we had our son Nestor on the bar pulling pints.
Yep.
He said at the beginning of the evening he had no idea how to pull a pint, By the end of it, he was a pro.
And he had
creating the perfect head as he tilted the glass.
Yeah, and he said he had so much fun. So we had Nestor working that wedding, obviously Holly, and then Chris, who's behind the camera right now, was the videographer.
Chris, were you doing video?
I was filming that one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Did you get some good stuff?
Yeah, we can use it for social media, which is great. So, you know, I'm trying to look at the positive side. So anyway, moving on.
Well, yesterday we had our big team meeting, kind of reviewing the past year and looking ahead and thinking about changes and things that we want to make for next year. And I guess it was quite sad to start the meeting looking at some of the statistics for last year, because it turned out that we only had about 10,000 visitors to Mapperton, which is our lowest number for 5 or 6 years. And there are a few reasons for that. One critical one is that we closed for March and October this year, and we did that because it was costing us more to be open for those months. But it does mean obviously that we got fewer visitors overall. We also suspect that during the season this year, the systems that we were using to track people were not functioning properly, or possibly the people operating them may not have been functioning properly in some cases, and therefore perhaps not everybody was tracked. But we've got this wonderful new system that you saw Julie getting so excited about in Birmingham. You even gave Demetrius a big hug at the end.
That's great.
So pleased were you with the ways in which it's going to improve our lives.
Oh my gosh,
so
I can't wait to film it for you guys in January. By
the way, we're putting a lot into this system, aren't we? We're investing a lot of emotional energy as well as other sorts of investment. So it better pay off.
It better pay off. I'm really excited about it.
Is the name. Anyway, the changes next year, I mean, I think the biggest of all is probably going to be around the cafe and ways that we're really going to simplify that. Now, Julie wants to go full Stonehenge. And by full Stonehenge, I mean Stonehenge, which has, I think, 500,000...
1.2 million visitors
a gazillion visitors a year have done away with crockery. It is all about recycling and recyclable materials. Plates, cups,
forks, knives, spoons.
Things that you get served and then you put them in the right recycling bin. And that's how they do it there. They do it at some other
Sandringham
English heritage sites. We heard that they do that at Sandringham. And so the question is, does that work for Mapperton with its much smaller footprint of people? And you think the answer is yes. And I worry that there are some people out there who like good old-fashioned crockery.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure you do. But this is basically, do you want to kind of go into how just the cafe, it's secondary spend, and the cafe for us is never going to bring in a huge amount of sort of profit for us.
No, you're right. One of the key things from last year is that the cafe lost a lot of money, and it lost it for various reasons to do with staff turnover, higher cost of sales, various other things, and it was really not a success for Mapperton. So this year we've really got to try something different, and it's in that context that you think this is going to be a way to be more efficient, keep the costs down, and still give people a great cup of tea and a great slice of cake.
Exactly. So everybody watching, what's happening is obviously I'm super busy, but I need to make sure that Mapperton
You're not busy today.
I'm not today.
You offered to do some things for me today that I would have never expected, given all the pressures on your time. Like, you're going to go off to the shops and get me some labels.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some bins in the coach house.
You're going to do bins in the coach house?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not doing those for me though. This is a little segue into bins.
No. I want to talk
almost the most exciting thing happening this last week.
No. Before he goes into bins, quickly, coach house.
Watch out, because you're cutting me off.
I know. People don't like that, but it happens. It's our relationship. It's our relationship.
You're going to get in trouble.
How the cafe is going to work is I'm overseeing the cafe. So yes, I'm putting something more on my plate, but I have somebody who's going to be helping, who's going to be managing that, who is, I feel, very confident and and I'm, very happy to work with this person. That is Holly, and it does make sense because she is going to be overseeing, obviously, weddings and events, and that involves a lot of the cafe.
She's got a new job title.
Yeah.
Weddings, events, and venue manager, which means she has a whole fiefdom now.
Yeah, and we have some great ideas.
Is she going to let us in?
It's both of us together. We've got some great ideas on how to make the cafe profitable, but at the same time, making sure that we're not sort of, well, I don't want to give too much away. I think once Holly and I have our whole plan.
This is an evolving story, everybody.
Yeah, I can't give too much away because we need some time to work it out.
But at the same time,
it's exciting.
At the same time as revamping the cafe, we are looking at getting more weddings, and we had the wonderful Kelly Chandler here to Mapperton. Now, those of you in the UK watching this video who have wedding businesses, and I expect there are many of you, it's a huge shout out to Kelly. She is an absolutely extraordinary weddings consultant who can come in, look at your business and say...
Did we film any of that or no?
And say, actually, guys, you need to do it this way. You've got this all wrong and you just need to do this. And Kelly first came to Mapperton in 2018 when we were starting the weddings business and gave us our template, which we've largely followed. And it's in part because of that and the hard work of Holly and others that we've done well with weddings. We have about 12 to 15 weddings a year on average, and we want to get that up to about 20 to 25. Julie says 30.
I say 30.
I knew you were going to say 30. But Mapperton always wants to be balanced. It doesn't want to be what's sometimes thought of as a wedding factory, where you've got back-to-back weddings within a week. And we've got a balance between the visitor business and the weddings business.
But we want to be able to grow both. We want to be able to
grow both. So she's been really helpful coming in, helping us think about that. And one of the big opportunities is to make use of the house. It's something that we've hesitated from doing in the past because of the operational risks of opening the house up and having to kind of make that work alongside a wedding and extra people that you're going to need and furniture you're going to need to move and risks of moving furniture and so on and so forth. But we think we've got a way. We won't talk more about it.
Yeah,
because this is
again, it's
evolving.
evolving. So, but just we're planting the seed with all of you now, so you kind of know what's going on. But all of these things, even the cafe, me overseeing the cafe, I'm also overseeing weddings as far as obviously Holly is delivering and she's the manager there, but I'm overseeing it and giving her support. But these all take time to kind of, when you're shifting a little bit. It's a lot of thought that goes into that, and that's one of the things that we were talking about yesterday with in our away day, which was hugely successful. So we've got more changes.
We've got more coming, but
do you want a sip of my decaf coffee?
I'm taking a hiatus here because this is spill the tea.
Yeah.
Not only do I not have any tea, but you're drinking coffee.
It's decaf.
We're going to have to change the title of this thing.
No.
Now, the other thing is, I've got a list here.
It's decaf.
But I forgot to put one key thing on the list.
Can I have my decaf coffee back?
And the reason... You just, the reason that I was looking at Julie's coffee, not only because it's coffee, not tea, is because it has the word Beavers on it. And Beavers, there is an update on Beavers, which is really important because there may be people watching who want to come and help with this. As you know, Woody and Twiggy went missing around about a year ago. They left us. I don't know why.
For the second time.
Any animals would want to leave us, but there we go. And they've gone on an extended holiday somewhere in the water system, the river system around us here. And we've been planning to try and locate them, and if not, to bring in new beavers to replace Woody and Twiggy, which would be sad. But before we press the button on new beavers, we're going to make one last push to recover Woody and Twiggy. So there is going to be the Great Beaver Hunt.
That's right.
Starting at Mapperton imminently.
And there's a limited time with that, isn't there?
There is, and this is just to sort of preview that. We're going to launch it properly in a week or so, and we will be looking for volunteers, people who want to help walk up and down the water courses, looking for signs of beaver activity, which are things like chewed twigs and so on, to see if we can have a last effort to relocate Woody
And how are you
Twiggy.
feeling about that? I mean, do you think we're going to, find them?
Never say never.
Okay,
Never
so
say
you're not
never.
optimistic.
I think the key thing is to have some really succulent apples.
Yeah, they love apples.
And carrots. And maybe what we do is we create a special mush so that the fragrance kind of
Attracts
goes out
them
and
attracts
well
them in.
drifts down the river so that they sort of smell it as they wake up
Yeah.
in the morning, rather as you smell your coffee.
Decaf.
Decaf, right. So yeah, other changes for next year. We've got, we're not going to be doing as many events.
No, we've really had a hard look at this. And a couple of years ago, we decided to do something that we called just sort of programming, which we're still doing, but we were bringing in a lot of different programming. And that was from having yoga here on Fridays. It was, willow weaving. We had a jewelry making session. We had a Mother's Day cream tea. And that is lovely and wonderful. But what it does is it requires a lot of other people's time taking here at Mapperton, mine included, yours included, taking them away from kind of their core responsibilities. And we looked at that and we just need to refocus on kind of what's really, really working and bringing in, I think, income into the estate. So sadly, we are going to be focusing on just 4 big events in 2025, and that is our food and drink fair in May. And before that, we'll have our big spring plant fair that in April, then the food and drink fair in May. Then we'll have another autumn plant fair in September, and then we'll have our Christmas market in December. Now, that's not to say that we're not cutting everything. For example, we have Shakespeare in the Garden every year, and that's easy because they basically come, they do everything. It's no skin off of our back. It doesn't require really anybody's sort of staff time. People come here, they bring a picnic, they have their tea or their, they bring a lovely picnic for a dinner, and they watch Shakespeare in the Garden, and that's easy. And there's not cleaning up afterwards. I think that's one of the big things is after a lot of these events, big messes are made, and it requires cleaning, putting the chairs back in the cafe, all the tables. And when we have something outside on the garden, we're not having to move furniture. So, but yeah, that was a hard decision for me because, of course, as a yogi and somebody who wanted to bring yoga here, we've done it really well for a year and a half, but it just...
But can I just say that whilst we may be doing this for next year, hopefully in future years, we can bring some of these things back as we start to get Mapperton, into better financial health. At the end of the day, it's about trying to get Mapperton into the black, because currently the estate makes losses, and those losses have to be supported every year, and we've just got to find ways to reduce costs and increase income. And so things that are at the margin and aren't generating enough income but are taking up quite a lot of time and resources, we've just got to be a bit ruthless about them, at least for the time being.
Moving on.
Have I talked about bins?
No, but you're desperate to talk about bins. Obviously.
Bins.
Well, in America, we would just say garbage.
Trash, you'd say.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
the trash
cans.
The trash
bins.
can.
We say bins and rubbish.
We say garbage and trash cans.
Don't you? Yeah, that's interesting.
The trash
isn't
can,
it?
yeah.
What do you say for recycling?
Recycling.
Yeah, I thought you did. Anyway, bins.
Bizarre.
The bins at Mapperton have been an eyesore because as things have grown, more weddings, more people coming here, there's more rubbish that needs to be collected. And it used to be that we just had a couple of bins behind the boiler house, but we don't anymore. We've got about 15 of them, and they spill out everywhere. And it's almost the first thing you see as you drive along.
Well,
so we are going to be building a new bin store, and I bet everybody is excited about that, as I am, which is going to shield the bins so they're not the first thing that you see.
That's great.
It's just little things sometimes that make the difference.
Great. Well, you got that off your chest. You feel so much better.
And there's also something exciting that we didn't mention. We've got all sorts of exciting animals coming back to Mapperton next year. We've talked about beavers. We'll talk a bit more about storks in a moment. But elephants are coming to Mapperton.
You mentioned that at the top of the program. I'm sure people were wondering, what? It's true, though. An elephant is coming.
It's not real.
No.
Sorry. We could have a
But
real
it's really
elephant.
pretty. It's really pretty.
Do you know there's a theory that there were elephants in Britain at one stage, quite small ones, and they would be responsible for knocking over a lot of trees, opening up areas, woodland
like
areas,
beavers.
glades.
Like,
they would have been a keystone species.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously mammoths, but anyway, so this elephant is a work of art, and it is being worked on as we speak, and we are going to be part of an elephant trail that will be hitting the Jurassic Coast in spring of next year. We have chosen,
right when we open, which is great.
We have chosen our elephant already. There are going to be many of these things, as many as 50, I think, and you'll have a chance to visit all of them. And we'll do a proper segment on this when we start to get closer to the time. But it's all in aid of a fantastic charity, which is going to be our chosen charity for next year, and that's the Wellbeing Hospice. And it's a really important charity here in Dorset, providing end-of-life care and hospice care for people in the late stages of their lives. And so this elephant trail is part of the fundraising effort to support Wellbeing. So we're really pleased to do that.
We were able to choose, we looked at about, how many did we look at? Almost 50-something elephants. We had to put our top 3, because they're all done by different artists. And I love the one that I'm so happy we got our first choice.
Ours is a rewilding elephant.
Yeah, we can give you that. He's like perfect.
He carries a lot of other animals on his back.
Really
And we can't wait to have him here.
So that was part of our away day meeting yesterday, was just discussing that and the marketing around that. And then there was some sad news in the meeting because
we have more sad news.
Well, we've got...
This is supposed to be uplifting.
No, I know.
People are tuning in the morning, hoping that we're going to make their day and give them a spring in their step with all the exciting things happening at Mapperton.
There are some further on, but
let's leave out the sad things.
Okay.
I think we've done enough of that. By the way,
okay. Well, I was going to...
Happy thing, it was my birthday yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I allowed to announce that?
Yeah. I'm just looking
at... She's not.
Okay, fine.
She's not. You were very excited about my birthday. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we had a great time. I had 2 birthday cakes. Can you believe it? 2 birthday cakes.
You did. None of them provided by me. Neither of them, I should say. And
even with 2 birthday cakes, there were not enough candles to cover my years. So that gives you a clue as to how ancient I am.
We did have a nice birthday. We did.
So yeah, other things that are happening. What else would you want to talk about? I mean, I've got a couple more on here.
Well, I think for me, what I want to talk
Christmas.
about is, I think leading on from, of course, the away day that we had yesterday with all the members of staff. We do have really exciting, we're doing Secret Santa. So that's something that I brought here
we've got our
2 years ago.
Staff Christmas party.
We've got a staff Christmas party a week from
next Friday.
Yeah, so 2 weeks from today, and when we're filming this. And everybody does Secret Santa, and how it works is it's more of an upcycled gift. But if you don't want to upcycle anything that you have in your gift drawer, I think everybody kind of has a gift drawer. You can spend maximum £5, and we're going to a lovely spot for lunch. We are going to a new place for our Christmas lunch. I'm hoping they're going to have hats and crackers and silly jokes. Oh, I'll have to bring those.
And Holly usually does a quiz, doesn't she?
I'll talk to Holly.
Chris, is Holly doing a quiz, do we think? Do we know about that?
I will find out.
We find out if Holly's doing a quiz.
If not,
I've done Secret Santa. Can she do the quiz? Be great.
I will plant the seed.
Plant the seed. What else have we got going on? I had a fascinating meeting about the possibility of a rewilding channel. I don't want to get too excited about that now.
I was in that meeting.
Julie was there too. She didn't get as excited as me.
Because it's more work.
It's more work. But also because she's got her own channels, which take.
That's what I need to announce. That's right. We haven't announced that.
Have you not?
I don't think so much. Maybe a little bit. No, have we, Chris? Tiny bit. We finally launched the Gilded Heiresses, and that's really based on the research that I've been doing over the past 3 years, and I've just been consumed by these American heiresses who, came across the pond, married into the British aristocracy, and obviously doing my dissertation, finishing and researching my dissertation on your great-grandmother, Alberta Sturgis, has piqued my interest even more because she kind of flipped the narrative of the American heiress right on its head, that they just, sort of married for titles and the aristocracy that they were marrying into, married for their wealth. And this is the first time, once my dissertation comes out through a book, pretty much, that we've been able to see through Alberta's letters that actually there was a lot of emotion involved around her choices in marrying George, your great-grandfather. She was very open in her feelings and the path that she wanted to take, and her feelings around marriage. So anyway, the Gilded Heiresses.
Yeah, you were going into the whole Alberta spiel.
I know I do
It's
that.
funny because the moment the word Alberta comes up, that's like, setting the touch paper for Julie to go off on an Alberta
excited.
Story, because you get so excited.
Yeah,
and you've done so well.
But you're right. I need to rein that back. So well done for spotting that. So the Gilded Heiresses is going to be around around the ballrooms, the parties, the individuals themselves, the British aristocracy, what was happening in America at that time, and of course focusing on the well-known Gilded Heiresses that we know. So for example, Consuelo Vanderbilt, Mary Later, Jenny Jerome, but also the lesser-known ones, which I'm excited to share as well. And they're all going to be my voice, so it's going to be voiceover. Crisp and I worked together putting them together, and yeah, that's exciting. And then the other channel that we're close to launching is Castles and Tiaras, and we should be able to launch that by the end of the year.
That is fabulous. Now, it is coming up to the beginning of the Christmas season. I've noticed Christmas trees everywhere. I can't help but hear some Christmas music. I always get told in my family that I'm a bit of a Scrooge when it comes to Christmas music, because I really don't like it on before about the middle of December, having heard all those songs so many times.
Everything starts so early.
It starts so early, doesn't it? And Julie has already identified a Christmas tree.
I have.
But we're having a bit of a tussle about it.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Because there's a lovely spruce in the coach house that we bought in for the Christmas market. It's beautiful and it's soft. It's not prickly. It doesn't hurt when you put an ornament on it. And it's tall. And I just think perfect. It'll work perfectly in the hall. Let's just go and do that. And when I grew up, spruce were not thought of as appropriate for Christmas trees. It's just the way I was brought up. They're too soft. I love
They're
them.
Not spiky enough.
So
like
great.
like a fir.
Don't hurt yourself.
You need a fir. And there's another really good reason here.
And
Julie wants to upcycle an existing tree. I get that. That makes some sense.
Thank you.
I want to go on an exploration of the estate to discover a Christmas tree somewhere tucked away that we can cut down, film, bring back, get covered in
Just
pine
upcycle.
needles and scrapes and bruises, and have a real adventure bringing a Christmas tree to Mapperton. So, and which of course we would film as we usually do. You just don't think that's
I just think we have a tree. It's soft. Let's just upcycle
Let's
it.
go with it. Okay,
Wait,
so fir or spruce? Give us
Comment
your
down below.
thoughts.
I know everybody's going to say fir.
By the time people see this, it might be too late.
No. I think it'll be okay, because we won't put it up until like the week before Christmas. We are always quite late putting up because we just are so busy.
I mean, it is true that the spruce will probably hold on to its needles for longer as well.
There we go. And we have a lovely new Christmas tree holder that one of our patrons sent to us. So that's very exciting.
We do. We do have a backup plan for Julie's spruce though, which is that it would go in the church.
We do.
Which isn't
we have a carol service in the church.
It's not a bad location for it.
So if you're asking, do we use the church over this time? We do. We've got a carol service over the Christmas period, and we do need to get a tree into the church.
And by the way, we have a lot of events coming up here at Mapperton for Christmas, which all sounds rather exhausting, but equally exciting. So kicking off, we have obviously our staff Christmas lunch.
Yep.
That's fabulous. 2 weeks' time.
And last year I couldn't go because I had COVID.
That's true. Soon after that, we have our Mapperton Christmas drinks party.
Yep.
where friends and family will be descending on Mapperton. We've got a succession of wonderful cousins coming to stay. We've got a family walk and lunch, wider family walk and lunch that we do as well. We've then got a carol service, which I'm hoping to live stream on the 29th, which is the Sunday, with or without the spruce. And
we're hosting it
then, and then it's New Year. Is that right? And we draw breath. Yeah.
We do.
Have we got any New Year plans?
I, everybody, am going back to teaching yoga in London.
But New Year's Eve, have we got a party?
No, but I'm teaching on New Year's
We
Day.
haven't been invited to a party. Someone invite us to a New Year's party.
Yeah.
Come on.
So we do have New Year's Day plans because I'm teaching. I've decided to go back. One thing I've really missed is actually teaching yoga in London.
Hang on, let me interrupt you.
What?
Now let's look at your plate. Okay, here's Julie's plate.
Okay.
It's quite
you
big
agreed, though.
already, isn't it? It's about this size. Yeah. What are the various things you're doing? Oh, you're writing a book. I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, you're managing Mapperton. Yeah.
With you.
Yeah. Other things. Oh, you've got how many channels now?
4.
4 channels.
4 YouTube channels.
Okay.
5, including Mapperton Live.
Oh, you've got restoration projects
I do.
as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh, Alberta and volunteers.
Yeah.
You've got that. And so her plate's not full. She's
so
got
right-
loads of room to become a superstar yoga teacher again. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so you do it.
So I am. So one of the things that I've really missed is...
By the way, did we
Yeah, I'm
forget
gonna
anything?
plank it.
No, but did we forget anything on your plate? Because I bet we did.
Well, filming for AV.
Yeah, well, all your channels.
Channels.
Yeah,
it's 5 channels.
That's a lot, isn't it? Anyway,
it's a lot. I'm sure we have probably forgotten something. It's one of the things that I've really missed, and I think sometimes you can get consumed by so many different projects. And the thing about yoga is, of course, I still practice it weekly, on a weekly basis. How it kind of works is, I do head up to London, and you many times with me on the weekends, just because when you work here and there's weddings going on, let's say, you know, it's not that the weddings are in the house, but you know, if we are going to open up the house.
She's managing the cafe as well.
I am managing the cafe, that's right. It's just, if we're in London for the weekends, I can teach there on a weekend. So that is the plan, is to teach there on the weekend. And it works out really well because that's when I practice at this studio that I used to teach at. It's called Try Yoga. And I practice there on the weekends anyway.
It's not any old studio.
No,
it's... This is the top London yoga studio, where you were London's top yoga instructor.
I had 80 people in my class on a weekend.
Well, more than that, you even taught one morning at 6 o'clock on Tower Bridge in front of about 4,000 people. That was quite an experience.
I did, for Car-Free Day.
Anyway, you're
going
back to your roots.
So I'm going to go back. It's just going to be 1 class a week on the weekend, and that works really well with my schedule. And of course, if I need to be down here on weekends, which there will be times, I can get cover. That's not a problem at all. So you can get cover. But yeah, I'm really excited. So going back to New Year's Day, what I used to do at this studio was always have a New Year's Day workshop, and we're resuscitating that. So I'm doing it with another teacher, really good friend of mine, who also teaches at Try Yoga. And in fact, she used to assist for me in my big classes, and now she's teaching. And we're doing a New Year's Day workshop from 3:30 to 5:30. So everybody can have their lunch. And yeah, that's what I'm doing New Year's Day.
I've thought of one other thing you do.
What?
I'm
a mom.
Being a mom's pretty hard work too.
It's hard,
Yeah.
even when they get older. Wow. Yeah.
Anyway,
wait.
I think that might be all the tea we have time to spill today.
Just
What?
one more thing. I just
One
want to do
more thing?
one more thing. Just my tapestries, because
Not
many people
tapestries.
So many people
If you
have
do
asked about
tapestries,
it.
I've got to do stores.
Okay, fine. We'll do
Okay.
Let's stay on for 5 more minutes, everybody.
At this point, it's just like, press the button, get them all.
No, it's not.
Just before you do that,
Tapestries.
subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah,
Right.
turn notifications on if you like us,
Oh.
the way we interrupt each other. Oh, sorry. We do get a lot of those comments, but it's okay. That's the way our relationship works. Interruption.
I'm trying really hard not to interrupt her.
I'm going to move on to tapestries really quickly. You've seen the video. If you haven't, go back and watch it when I had Emma Telford here.
If you go on too long, I'm going to interrupt you.
I know, and just go back and watch that video. And we went through all of the tapestries. She's amazing. She's recently conserved the tapestries some of the tapestries at Blenheim Palace. That's how I found her when I was filming there. And she came here, looked at them, and has written a fantastic, very extensive report. I then had a follow-up phone call with her, and we're going to start the tapestry fundraiser with one panel, and that is the peacock and the boy who's on a fish in the middle of a fountain. It's a small panel. These are wonderful tapestries. They are 18th century. Yes, you could probably buy new tapestries for the amount that it costs to repair them, but because they have historical value and of course sentimental value, we're going to start with one tapestry, and I'm really excited about that. And she's shown me sort of some of her work after, so I have an idea of what they could look like afterwards. And so that will be launching in January. If you haven't put your name on the list, if you're interested in being a part of that tapestry fundraiser, the link is down below, and you just basically put your name and your email, and then I'll send you more details soon.
I heard of another historic house where, for their tapestry restoration project, they actually had the restorer sitting in a corner of the room, restoring live, and people would come around and watch and talk. So I thought maybe you could be that person and sit in the corner of the hall with the tapestry there, weaving away. It'd be quite peaceful. It
would be quite peaceful.
And people would definitely come to see you.
Of course they would, but I will, of course, if this takes it off the ground and we get the fundraising we need, I will go and film Emma, and then there will be a big grand reveal.
There will be a grand reveal. Storks, very quickly. Actually, there's not much to update on Storks, except, as you know, we are planning to bring Storks back to Mapperton, back to West Dorset, and we've got a really exciting conversation later today with another historic house owner who has done exactly that, and he's going to tell me all about the trials and tribulations of building an aviary, hatching young storks, and making a success of their return. So watch this space.
Interior.
Well, that's okay.
Brilliant, everybody. Thank you so much for always coming back here and watching us spill the tea, or today it was spill the decaf coffee here at the Manor. At the Manor.
And thank you for being so nice about my hair today in advance. So we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye, everybody.